The world of Taurus is on the verge of incredible discoveries that can turn your life upside down. Prepare for the fact that the usual framework will begin to crumble, opening the way to a completely new reality. The age of Pisces, which has lasted 2 millennia, is coming to an end, giving way to the age of Aquarius, with its unique opportunities and rules of the game. Serpentine returns to the astrological world, ready to make adjustments to natal charts and horoscopes as early as June 2025. Astronomical data shows that over the last 60 years, the Sun's movement has shifted the zodiac by 30 days, creating a kind of void in the astrological system. The ecliptic has undergone a change, opening up space for the 13th sign of the zodiac between Scorpio and Sagittarius, namely between November 13th and December 17th. For Taurus, this means that the period of his sign now falls on the dates from April 19th to May 13th. So what does this mean? Reboot. The universe opens new horizons, giving you a chance to gain wealth, love, freedom and happiness, as if starting with a clean slate. The old failures and obstacles gradually fade into the past, giving way to new opportunities. The summer of 2025 will be a key moment, an assembly point, after which the world will no longer be the same. Events are ahead that can shake the mind, feelings, financial situation and even the meaning of life. Each month will be like a door that opens the way to new perspectives. Willingness to act and take advantage of chances will be the key to success, while inaction may lead to missed opportunities. Attention Taurus. This is not just an astrological forecast, but a real instruction for survival and achieving unprecedented heights. Representatives of this zodiac sign will either take everything from life, or stay at the same level, missing unique opportunities. June 11th, during the full moon in Gemini, Taurus will be in the epicenter of events. He will no longer be just a stubborn earth sign, but will become the basis and core of a new reality. Now Taurus does not just exist, he forms the very essence of life around him. All the events that occur are not a coincidence, but a test to realize its true nature. The full moon will expose innermost thoughts, fears and goals. Questions that were previously carefully avoided will no longer be ignored. Why is Taurus here? What is he creating? Where is his path directed? If previously life was reduced to work for survival, now everything changes dramatically. Taurus life is not just a function, it has a deep meaning. Old benchmarks are losing their relevance. Credit, obligations and other people's expectations no longer govern Taurus reality. The stars give him the right to ask himself the ultimate question: what does he wake up for every morning? The answer lies not in external circumstances, but within himself. Taurus begins to realize that his strength lies in the ability to build, not destroy, to create, not run from problems. The world is collapsing for those who are used to go with the flow, but not for Taurus. He has a chance to rethink himself and become the master of his destiny. Fear of loss gives way to the desire for new discoveries. Each failure becomes an incentive for improvement. Inside Taurus awakens not just confidence, but absolute inner support. No one can give him happiness until he does not allow himself to be happy. And that moment is coming right now. June 15th is marked by a tense aspect in the sky, as Mars in Leo squares Uranus in Taurus. During this period, love is not an ephemeral illusion, but a tangible reality. This is a time of change for Taurus. Their zodiac sign ceases to be associated with routine activities, hoarding and predictability. With the arrival of the age of Aquarius, Taurus takes on a new identity characterized by inner magnetism, crystal clarity of intent, and powerful attraction. Uranus in their sign exerts an immediate influence and Mars strikes a precise blow to the heart. As a result of all this, the superficial falls away and the true comes to the surface. Love is no longer a game or a source of suffering. Representatives of the sign of Taurus are no longer ready to compromise, live in expectation or dissolve in another person. They cease to be beggars of feelings, realizing themselves as their source. Those around them see their true nature for the first time in a long time, and Taurus begin to feel that they can be loved simply for who they are, without the need to wear masks, pressure or fear. Men born under the sign of Taurus overcome their natural tendency to be silent. They no longer withdraw from what is going on, no longer hide their emotions behind a pile of affairs. They are awakening the power to speak openly, feel deeply, and are not afraid to show their vulnerability. Taurus knows how to protect, but now they realize that true protection lies in creating an atmosphere of calm and safety around them. It is this feeling that those they are attracted to are looking for. Taurus women no longer settle for a relationship for the sake of not being alone. They are not interested in weak affection. They realize that love doesn't have to hurt. A true feeling is one that strengthens, not breaks, the personality. This is the kind of equal relationship based on mutual respect, freedom and inner honesty, without dependence or pretense, that they seek to create. Love is not exhausted, but revealed in its fullness. Taurus is given the opportunity to build a relationship that holds not on passion or habit, but on respect, freedom and inner honesty. It's not just romance, it's real strength. Such unions can last for decades, or even a lifetime. And the stars give Taurus a chance for just such a love story. On July 7th, Uranus begins its movement through the sign of Gemini, which brings about significant changes in the astrological understanding of spheres of influence. The fifth house, previously displaced by the serpent, now takes on a new meaning, becoming a symbol of financial power and authority. Representatives of the sign of Taurus, renewed and self-confident, ready to take advantage of the opportunities that are opening up, putting aside previous fears and doubts. No longer content with the role of the performer, Taurus turns into a source to which they turn for solutions and guidance. In traditional astrology, the fifth house was associated with children, creative endeavors, and flirtation, but in the new interpretation, it becomes an arena for demonstrating power and generating income. Any endeavor Taurus undertakes brings tangible and immediate results. Uranus, coming into its own, stimulates rapid growth, an influx of fresh ideas, expansion of the circle of communication and activation of activity. Financial flows are directed where Taurus becomes a key figure attracting money. True power is manifested in the ability to persuade and lead without the use of force. The old days when it took years to prove your worth are in the past. Now everything is decided by concrete actions and results. Entering into negotiations, Taurus from the first word makes it clear that he is not a dependent party. He either sets the rules of the game or refuses to participate. Income comes not through grueling labor, but through precise choices and the ability to see promising opportunities. Taurus refuses to work where he cannot show his leadership skills and control the situation. Even remaining within the framework of wage labor, he sets clear boundaries, demanding respect and decent pay as an equal partner. The Taurus woman, confident in her strength and capabilities, acts decisively, attracting financial prosperity to herself. She no longer questions her worth, but simply realizes her potential, allowing money to flow to her. The representative of the sign Taurus decisively changes his financial habits, realizing that excessive hoarding deprives him of a full life. He begins to invest in his own development, promising projects and active movement forward. Thanks to the influence of Uranus, which endows him with lightning-fast thinking speed, Taurus is no longer afraid to take risks. He carefully analyzes the situation, develops strategies and acts proactively, which allows him to move towards his goals with confidence. It is now obvious to him why simply accumulating money did not bring the expected satisfaction. He used to be focused on abstract amounts, whereas now his goal is to create a sustainable system. He seeks not one-time profits, but to create a continuous cash flow, realizing that money reaches out to those who know how to manage it. And now Taurus manages finances not only with practical skills, but also thanks to his inner state, strategic thinking, and the system he has built. On July 20th, Mars conjuncts the South Node in Virgo, opening a new chapter in his life of freedom and limitations. Taurus no longer seeks stability as the only value, now choice is important to him, clear, deliberate and irrevocable. He is moving away from the position of a tolerant and adaptable person, which was characteristic of the age of Pisces with its pity, compromises and endless reflection. There is a new era of Aquarius, which brings to the forefront of personal will. Taurus transforms from a timid calf into a strong bull or buffalo, capable of fighting back. He does not seek conflict, but if he is oppressed, he sweeps away all obstacles in his path. Freedom becomes not just an abstract concept, but a powerful tool. Taurus himself determines his social circle, sphere of activity and location. There is no more room for imposed, must, questions, what will others say, or outdated ideas about how accepted. The opinions of others become mere background noise to him. While others continue to depend on other people's assessments, Taurus simply lives his life, guided by his own principles and aspirations. In the life of each person comes moments when there are dramatic changes. Someone decides to change jobs, someone completes the outdated relationship, and someone radically changes the place of residence. It is important to realize that these changes are not a manifestation of the crisis, but rather a necessary stage of purification, release from everything that burdens and prevents you from moving forward. Long suffering taken to the limit is not synonymous with freedom. On the contrary, a person who has realized this turns into an independent unit that determines its own fate and makes its own decisions. July 31st is marked by the conjunction of Mercury and the Sun in the sign of Leo, which opens up new perspectives. The ninth house, traditionally associated with spiritual pursuits and travel, now takes on a connotation of happiness and self-realization. The new understanding of Taurus is that happiness is not a fleeting feeling, but the result of purposeful work on oneself, built a system of values and priorities. The previous idea of happiness, inherent in the bold Taurus, was reduced to the absence of problems, financial stability and monotony of days. However, the realization comes that it was not happiness, but only a way of survival. True happiness begins when a person stops being a passive observer and begins to act, when he has a favorite cause, deep feelings and a clear goal, to which he strives independently, without regard for the opinion of others, without fear and laziness. Happiness is the ability to live in your own reality, to wake up with joy and anticipation of a new day, without the desire to escape from reality. It is living a life filled with meaning, not waiting for a weekend or a vacation. Each morning becomes a confirmation of the rightness of the choice made. Why does happiness remain so ephemeral for many? The reason lies in the fact that people often cling to other people's ideals and values. It is important to stop copying other people's lives, comparing yourself with others and expecting someone to bring happiness on a platter. When a person feels sincere love, knows how to manage his finances and realizes his freedom, realizing that he does not have to suffer, everything falls into place. He ceases to depend on external circumstances such as the weather, the exchange rate, or other people's moods. He simply knows who he really is, and this knowledge makes him unshakable. A stable person is always happy because he is collected inside, he is not shaken by external influences. August 8th brings a rare configuration in the sky, as Mars, in Libra, enters into opposition with Saturn, ruling in Aries. The ecliptic is fracturing, marking a change of eras. The 10th house of the horoscope, traditionally associated with career and social status, now appears as a symbol of success, luck and ambitious aspirations. Transformed Taurus, freed from the burden of the past, no longer intends to be content with the role of a silent worker, ready at any time to come to the rescue. He realizes his value and is ready to claim his rights. The era marked by the influence of the serpentine, gives him the legal right to a healthy egoism, to realize himself not a means, but the goal. From now on, Taurus, driven by an unquenchable thirst for success, boldly goes to his goal, not wasting precious energy on empty excuses and meaningless conversations. Some representatives of this zodiac sign open their own business, others conquer new markets, others change jobs and instantly increase their income. They have one thing in common: they act for themselves. Previous achievements did not bring satisfaction, because they were dictated by the desire to please others, to prove their worthiness. Now success is not an end in itself, but a means of achieving personal desires and ambitions. There comes the realization that if a person does not put himself in the first place, he simply does not exist. Is it worth sacrificing yourself for the sake of other people's goals? The answer is unequivocal, no. This is not a manifestation of cruelty, but a clear understanding of one's own priorities. Taurus supports only those who do not pull him down. He does not save the drowning, but creates new opportunities. One representative of this zodiac sign stops supporting lazy adult children, another refuses to be a universal helper at work, the third breaks up toxic relationships. And does this make him weaker? Not at all, on the contrary, he gains strength by stopping wasting it. August 22nd, when the Sun makes its transition into Virgo, is a momentous day. The 12th house of the horoscope, traditionally associated with the subconscious, solitude, and spiritual pursuits, now takes on a new significance, defining the path to Taurus' spiritual rebirth. This is no longer escapism or withdrawal into a world of illusions, but rather the building of a solid system of inner support necessary for survival in the modern world. The Taurus of the new type is not an exalted fanatic absorbed in mystical practices. He does not seek solace in dubious rituals or fashionable spiritual trends. Rather, he is a person who has found inner harmony and stability, independent of external pressure and manipulation. He is no longer subject to panic and confusion because he has found his inner anchor, the unshakable certainty that he is not just a physical body. The question of the existence of the soul ceases to be a matter of philosophical debate. It is enough to look at the Taurus, who, having experienced severe trials and losses, managed to independently rise from his knees. Circumstances did not break him, he continued to move forward, not needing external approval and support. It is this inner strength, this unbending will to live that is the manifestation of his soul. So how to strengthen the connection with this higher beginning? In fact, this connection already exists. Taurus has learned to hear his inner voice, unmistakably identify dangerous directions and recognize lies. He avoids those places where darkness reigns, because his inner world is filled with light. He does not need external proof of his rightness, but trusts his inner compass. One Taurus can make the difficult decision to leave the path that seemed stable, but brought unbearable suffering. Another will be able to forgive an offense, but will not forget it, learning a valuable lesson from the past. A third will let go of the situation, but will not lose himself in it. This is true spirituality, devoid of ostentatious drama and religious fanaticism, just maturity and wisdom gained through experience. And here it is, the final chord in the reflection on spiritual balance. Is it achievable, this cherished peace? The answer sounds confidently, yes, it is achievable. A person who finds harmony with himself stops running away from his own self, he is no longer afraid of loneliness, and he does not panic in moments of uncertainty. Peace is not an escape from reality, but the ability to maintain inner equanimity when chaos rages around. It is not a manifestation of weakness, but, on the contrary, a powerful inner armor, which Taurus is now forming from within. Friends, it is important to realize that change is an integral part of life, but the choice of how to treat it is always up to the individual. This raises the question of the serpentine and the possible change in zodiac sign dates. Taurus, who are not ready to accept the new system, have every right to stick to the classic dates. The age of Aquarius is just beginning to gain strength, and it does not imply blind obedience. All processes occur gradually, step by step. You can continue to be guided by the familiar dates, and for those who consider themselves Taurus within the old system, horoscopes will continue to be made. No one insists on an immediate transition. However, there is another side of the coin. The facts speak for themselves. Astrological programs designed for making horoscopes are increasingly producing inaccuracies and gaps. Natal charts no longer correctly display transits, as it was before. Predictions become blurred, data are confused more and more, and events do not find their reflection in life, especially for those who were born on the border signs. And this is not just an occasional glitch, but a clear signal of the need to rethink. Serpentine inexorably expands its influence on the ecliptic, claiming the rights to his due part of the celestial space. As early as November 2025, traditional astrological calculations will begin to fail, marking a tangible transition to a new reality. Previously uncharted areas of the cosmos will become active, and everything that was not accounted for in previous calculations will distort our perception of reality, especially in the areas of relationships, finances, and professional activities. However, those who accept the new astrological dates now will have a significant advantage. The pioneers of the new cycle will gain clarity of thought, the ability to take timely action, and concrete benefits. The new astrological Taurus is not just a change of dates, it is a transition to a qualitatively different level, requiring new thinking, increased responsibility, and powerful energy potential. The world is changing, and the zodiacal circle with it. To live more accurately, deeply, and in harmony with the flow of life, it is necessary to use new tools and approaches, rather than clinging to outdated concepts that have dominated the last 2 millennia. In any case, it is not a question of losing your zodiac sign, but of renewing it, which is the source of strength and adaptation to new realities.